Akali, the rogue assassin. Ionia has always been a land of wild magic, its vibrant people and powerful spirits seeking to live in harmony. But sometimes, this peaceful equilibrium does not come easily. Sometimes, it needs to be kept in check. The Kinkou are the self-appointed keepers of Ionia's sacred balance. The Order's loyal acolytes walk the spirit and material realms, mediating conflicts between them and, when necessary, intervening by force. Born among their ranks was Akali, daughter of Mayim Yomen Tethi, the renowned Fist of Shadow. Mayim and her partner Tano raised their daughter within the Kinkou Order, under the watchful leadership of the great Master Kusho, the Eye of Twilight. Whenever her parents were called away, other members of the Order stepped in as Akali's surrogate family. Kennen, the heart of the Tempest, spent many hours with the young girl, teaching her shuriken techniques and emphasizing speed and agility over strength. Akali was a precocious child, and soaked up the knowledge like a sponge. It became clear to all that she would follow her parents' path, along with the great master's son and appointed successor Shen. She would lead a new generation dedicated to preserving Ionia's balance. But balance can be fleeting. The Order found itself divided. A wayward acolyte named Zed returned and clashed violently with Kusho, wresting power in a bloody coup. Akali fled into the eastern mountains along with Mayim, Shen, Kennen, and a handful of other acolytes. Sadly, Tano was not among them. Zed's transformation of the Kinkou into the merciless Order of Shadow was almost complete. But, as the new Eye of Twilight, Shen intended to rebuild what had been lost. They would return to the Kinkou's three fundamental philosophies: the pure impartiality of watching the stars, the passage of judgment and cursing the sun, and the elimination of imbalance by pruning the tree. Even though they were now few, they would train neophytes to restore and grow their numbers once more. When Akali came of age at 14, she formally entered the Kinkou training, determined to succeed her mother as the new Fist of Shadow. She was a prodigious fighter and mastered the Kama and Kunai, a handheld sickle and throwing dagger. Though she did not possess the magical abilities of any of her fellow acolytes, she proved to all she was worthy of the title, in time allowing her mother to step down and help mentor the younger neophytes. But Akali's soul was restless, and her eyes were open. Though the Kinkou and the Order of Shadow had come to an uneasy accord in the wake of the Noxian invasion of Ionia, she saw that her homeland continued to suffer. She questioned whether they were truly fulfilling their purpose. Pruning the tree was meant to eliminate those who threatened the sacred balance. Yet, Shen would always urge restraint. He was holding her back. All the mantras and meditations could quiet her spirit, but such platitudes would not defeat their adversaries. Her youthful preciousness turned to outright disobedience. She argued with Shen, she defied him, and she took down Ionia's enemies her way. In front of the whole Order, she declared the impotence of the Kinkou. All its talk of ritual balance and patience accomplished little. Ionians were dying in the material realm, and that was the realm Akali would defend. She was trained as an assassin. She was going to be an assassin. She did not need the Order anymore. Shen let her go without a fight, knowing this was a path Akali must walk alone. Perhaps that path would bring her back one day, but that would be for her to decide. Leaving Wele by Michael McCarthy. Ah, hey, bully, I cry out. Cut me a little deep, don't you think? I crane my head up and around from the wicker mat I'm lying prone on to stare right into the eyes of the Vestaya kneeling over me. I can feel the blood sliding down my back. How about you be a little more careful? I add. Bully pulls his Qualo and Muley away from my shoulder, the tools of a tattoo artist, like a hammer and chisel, made from serpent bone. Some use other animals or metals, but the serpent bones are just hollow enough to give the ink the fine line that a master like Bully demands in his work. A little more of my blood drips off the muley and onto my back. He smiles, dabs it with a swatch of old linen and shakes his head. Then he holds his hands and shrugs, as if to ask, "You want me to stop?" The words don't come. Noxian's soldiers took his tongue long before I began coming here. But I know him well enough to know what a look can say. His work is more than a fair trade for a little discomfort. And the blood? I can take a little blood. A lot, if it's not my own. Just clean it up a little, okay? I don't think we have much time, I tell him. Bully begins tapping the muley with the Qualo and adding the ink. He has the best inks. Rich colors, made from crushed Rikon wild berries and enchanted flower petals found only on the southern faces of the Vlanko cliffs. He is a master, and I am honored to be his canvas. I started coming to Wele not long after I stopped listening to Shen. All those years in the Kinkou Order. Treating carefully? No. Shen was wrong about that. About me. Restraint has never been my thing. I turn back around on the mat and rest my chin on top of my hands, keeping my eyes trained on the door that leads into Bully's tavern. His place is clean, but the air hangs heavy with guilt. The tavern is home to a collection of thieves, rogues, and bad decisions. People come to Bully's to arrange a way out of Wele, out of Ionia, because getting into Wele is hard, but getting out is even harder. Wele is a phantom port, a hidden coastal village protected by the mystical properties of Ionia. Unlike Faelor, she doesn't welcome outsiders, and you won't find her on the maps. Should Wele appear at all, it is always on her own terms, daring people into doing very dumb things. Most people approach from the sea, dreaming of riches, discovery, or maybe just a new start, only to have their hopes dashed in an instant. First, the shoreline that once called to them vanishes behind a dense wall of cobalt fog, crackling with arcane power. The sea rises and falls violently before unleashing torrents of crushing waves. As the survivors cling to their splintered vessel, the fog pulls back for the briefest of moments, allowing them one look at the flickering lanterns of Wele cruelly saying goodbye, just before the water pulls them down to the bottom of the breathless bay. I can't do anything about those people. Not my people, not my problem. Bully stops tapping. I'm here for someone else entirely. I feel my satchel against my thigh. It puts me at ease, although I would rather have it on me. From there, I could fire 3 kunai into 3 hearts on instinct. 3 kills without a thought. Where it is now, I'd have to think a little. I look up just in time to see the men come through the front door. He is flanked by 3 guards in their battle dress. Well, that makes it easy. I wonder which one I'm supposed to kill, I mock. Bully laughs. He can still do that, even without a tongue. It sounds a little weird, but it's real. He shakes his head again, and does that thing he always does, with a series of hand movements and head nods. He tells me to try and do my business outside this time, after they leave his establishment. You know I can't promise that, I say as I check my satchel and turn towards the din of the tavern. I pause at the doorway and turn back to him. I'll do what I can, I say, before lifting the mask over my face. I don't mind them seeing me, but if they saw me laughing at them, I think it would be just too much. The guy with the guards is my people. a high councilman from Pubo, a place not far from the Kinkou Order. But, like many, he sold out his people to the invaders for gold and safe passage to Wele and beyond. So now, he is my problem. But this is as far as he will get. Sure, I could have taken him out in his sleep at the inn, or when they made camp along the road to Wele. But where's the fun in that? I want him to taste the salt air. I want him to feel the sense of relief before the end comes. But I also want the others to see him pay for his crimes and know that this will not stand. Actions have consequences. I approach without a sound. His hands are shaking as he raises a mug of ale to his lips. His guards stand in his defense when they notice me. I'm impressed. Nice to see manners around here for a change, I say with a smile they cannot see.
What's your business, girl?
One of them asks through the plate of pitted and tarnished steel. Him, I say, pointing with my kama. It glistens with hues of the magic it was forged in. He's my business right now. The guards draw their weapons, but before they can step towards me, they disappear in a thick ring of blinding smoke. The kunai begin to fly, hitting their targets with a satisfying flesh and bone thunk. 1, 2, 3. Footsteps. I send 2 more kunai in that direction. A clang of metal followed by thunk of them ricocheting into the wall. More footsteps. Oh, you're gonna bleed, I call out, flinging a single shuriken from my hip and flipping across the room, following in its wake. I break through the smoke to see the last guard splayed out on the ground next to the door. The 3 prongs are lodged deep into his windpipe. I can see his chest rising and falling over ever so slightly. I grab him by the collar, raise him up, just to be sure. Almost, I whisper. At that moment, I hear a gurgling behind me. I turn to see a councilman through the receding smoke, bleeding out on the floor. His eyes are open, darting back and forth across the tavern, wondering what just happened. He looks so peaceful now.